I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We're going to ask our clerk to have a roll call for it.
Mayor King.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Head.
Here.
Councilmember Broadway.
Here.
Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Allen.
Here.
Councilmember Adcock.
Here.
Thank you, ma'am. We move to our minutes of our work session and on May 13th and work session, budget work session, and our regular meeting of May 20th.
Move for adoption.
Go ahead, sir.
Have a
Move for
motion
Second.
and a second. Any corrections, additions, or comments? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Minutes approved. Public comment. Anyone who would like to take up to 3 minutes to address us, we'd be glad to hear from you. Anyone? Yes, sir. If you'd come and give us your name and mailing address.
My name is Lee Davis. I live at 808 North Jefferson Avenue. I live across the street from St. Mary's Church and St. Mary's School.
Hey, you want to, Mr. Mayor, he's here for the public hearing meeting.
Are you here?
Yes.
We will get to you for
Okay.
the public hearing.
Okay,
Okay?
all right.
Anyone other than the public hearing, we will have a special public hearing on that. Yes, yes, ma'am.
If you'll give them the name for the record, that
I am Mary Rowe, and I am a longtime citizen of Goldsboro. And I came, you know, the Lord said people have a second chance. I wish you would give the people a second chance on that W.A. Forster Center. It is sort of sad to know. I made me some notes, and I said, well, I have looked into it. And Mary, Isaac, and Mary Catus gave that land over there to the black people. They saw a need for it. And it's records there in the register of these offices. And it says that they gave the land for a colored community center. It was never W.A. Forster, but it was a colored community center. Now that is history to me, but now you're taking it and moving it away from there. They would be very disappointed. And I said, well, I'm gonna try to get in touch with their daughter. She lives out of Goldsboro. And I'm gonna let her know the land that was donated for that purpose. I said, you need to come back and get the land back because they finna do something else with it. And I think it's not fair, and you lied about trying to buy property to put another one. The trustee at the building on Gully Street said they only asked for a portion of the land to build W.A. Forster. And I thought that was bad. You're not supposed to lie to the community and expect them to have a belief in you. And he was the chairman of the trustee where he do all the bidding and all that. He said the people that came to him only asked for half the property. And I think it's wrong. And I think that the ones I looked up, the people that's on the committee, and so maybe some of them don't even know what W.A. Forster stands for. And it is sad to know that you're gonna lump everything in the colored community. Everything will be over there. You're talking about a ball field, and you're talking about putting this center over there. It is wrong. To me, that is segregation. And the people that have already decided what they want to do, they don't live over there. And do you know we got a house up, her name is Cindy. She put her house up for sale. After she saw in the paper they're gonna do it anyway. And Pig couldn't come tonight because he's not feeling well. He said, well, they're gonna do what they wanna do. Certain people's on this panel. And he has a house over there, his daughter lives in it. And it is sad to know that the people don't have a voice. I am asking that you have another meeting, just as, see what I read in the paper last week. It said you're gonna do this and you're gonna do that and you're gonna put this in, you're gonna put that in. That's not what the people want. You need to do what the people want. We are taxpayers. And I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this. We're gonna have this over here in the gym. And we're gonna have a room for this and a room for that. That is simply wrong. And God gonna get some of you. Cause you're doing stuff that's not right. And I'm really disappointed. I told you about the history of the center. And I'm still gonna try to get that daughter and let her know what's happening for that land that they mom and daddy donated for the colored community center. And that history will be gone, so we won't have any more history over there on that land. I'm gonna let her know that. Y'all need to rethink it, but see, I think the way the director already spoke, his mind is already made up where he want to put it and what he want to put in it. And I think it's simply wrong. Y'all got to have a conscience of the people. And it's wrong that you won't let us speak about where we want it, not what you want in that community. And Cynthia already put her house up. Miss Bell sitting back here. She's talking about she may put hers up. I told her don't move nowhere. And if anything happens, blame the city council.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak? We will close the public comment period, and we have presentation. There's nothing listed, but we have a very special presentation to make, and it is a retirement. And I'd like to ask Mr. Guthrie and Mr. Artist, would you, I have presentation. It's retirement time. Resolution expressing appreciation for services rendered by Melvin T. Artist as an employee of the city of Goldsboro for more than 17 years. Whereas Melvin T. Artist retires on August 1st, 2013 as a zoning administrator with the Planning Department and Community Development of the city of Goldsboro with more than 17 years of service. Whereas Melvin began his career on March 27, 1996 as a building code inspector 1 with the inspections department. Whereas Melvin was promoted to zoning enforcement officer on November 17, 1999 with the planning and community development department. And whereas Melvin was promoted to zoning administrator on July 1, 2005 with the planning and community development department, where he has served until his retirement. And whereas the mayor and city council of the city of Goldsboro are desirous on behalf of themselves and other city officials and the employees and the citizens of the city of Goldsboro of expressing to Melvin T. Artist their deep appreciation and gratitude for the services rendered to him, to the city over the years. Now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and city council of the city of Goldsboro, North Carolina, that 1, we express to Melvin T. Artist our deep appreciation and gratitude for the dedicated service rendered during his tenure with the city of Goldsboro. We offer Melvin our very best wishes for success, happiness, and prosperity, and good health in his future endeavors. This resolution shall be incorporated into the official minutes of the city of Goldsboro and shall be in full force and effect from and after this 15th day of July 2013. I have a copy of the resolution. Melvin, or should I say Mr. Artist? That's too fishy. Either one is fine. This is something that a lot of people would like to get, and I never have. but you have earned it. We want to thank you for your service. And on behalf of the citizens of this great city, I thank you for them, for your services over the years, and wish you the best.
Thanks, sir.
Would you like to make a comment? Kim, I think she'd like to hear it. I'll get it, I'll get it. Thank you.
I would just like to say, I'd like to thank the city of Goldsboro for the opportunity to serve the citizens of Goldsboro. Thank you.
Thank you. And you might want to put it in here. And Randy, and
And I've had the pleasure of working with Melvin for the past 9.5 years that I worked with the city. He started out as a plumbing inspector at one point in time, and he's worked as a zoning enforcement officer and zoning administrator. He was the one who always had the tough job of sometimes having to give people bad news if the signs didn't meet sign requirements or zoning requirements, rezonings that were required. He did a lot that was very important to our appearance. A lot of our appearance regulations we adopted in '05. Melvin was involved in the enforcement and implementation of those policies. And you've always been a hard worker, a dependable person, came to work with a smile on your face every day and a great attitude, and I appreciate working with you. Thank you.
I guess I'll see you around the neighborhood more now, huh, Melvin?
okay, public hearings.
Mayor, I think Jimmy Rose is going to carry us through our public hearing tonight.
Mayor and City Councilman, item C, CU 513, George Denning. The property is located on the south side of Edgerton Street between Jefferson Avenue and Madison Avenue. The subject property is shown here in the property tax area. This is Edgerton Street is shown here. This is Maple Street, Madison Avenue, and Jefferson Avenue is located here. This is the property map of the property in question. The applicant requests a conditional use permit to allow the operation of a rooming or boarding house. Boarding or rooming houses are permitted within the existing residential R9 zoning district. However, a conditional use permit must be approved by the City Council. In 2007, the City Council adopted an amendment to the Code of Ordinances which pertain to license requirements for boarding and rooming houses. Standards were set forth at that time, and the standards are: a resident manager shall reside on the licensed premise. The license shall post a copy of this license in the residence manager's living quarters at the location visible from the entrance way of the living quarters. All sleeping quarters shall be served by working heating facilities in a bed with a mattress. The licensee shall meet each prospective tenant to determine that such tenant does not intend to use the living quarters for illegal activities. The licensee shall commence eviction proceedings against any tenant who engages in unlawful activity in or on the leased premise. The business location shall not be in violation of any applicable zoning, demolition by neglect, minimum housing code, or fire prevention code regulations. An up-to-date floor plan, the current list of the occupants shall be maintained in the residence manager's office. Each room occupied for sleeping purposes may not be less than 200 square feet in area, and no more than two unrelated people may share a room. All existing and new rooming houses shall have a monitored fire alarm system. All existing and new rooming houses shall be hardwired smoke detectors installed in all common areas and in sleeping quarters. Fire extinguishers shall be provided in all common areas and sleeping areas. A key box shall be installed at this location determined by the fire inspector. If a conditional use permit is approved by the City Council, the applicant will be required to apply specifically for a license to allow the existing residents as a boarding or rooming house, and the following three specific regulations must be met as follows. Single-family homes used as rooming, boarding houses may not subdivide existing rooms into less than 200 square feet in area. The rooming, boarding house shall be owner-occupied or have a resident manager, and no more than two unrelated people may occupy a single room. The site plan that was submitted by the applicant showed a facility that had a 2,510 square foot on the first floor. Well, the facility contained 2,510 square feet The first floor contained 1,255 square feet, which contained a 2 bedrooms, living room, dining room, kitchen, 4 bathroom, and a laundry room. The second floor contained 4 bedrooms and 1.5 bathrooms in a total area of 1,255 square feet. A total of 6 paid parking spaces are required for the use based on 1 space per room. There appears to be ample space in the rear yard for the required parking. The applicant has requested a modification of the number of the required parking spaces from 6 to 0, as well as the proposed drive aisles not to be paved. The applicant has requested a modification of all landscaping and sidewalk requirements. As indicated previously, each room to be occupied for sleeping purposes may not contain less than 200 square feet. According to the applicant's submitted floor plan, 5 of the 6 bedrooms will not meet this requirement. The recommendation is no action necessary. The planning commission will have a recommendation for the council meeting on August 5th, 2013.
Thanks, Jimmy. Any questions from council? Hearing none. This is a public hearing, as Mr. Rowe just described. Anyone who would like to speak for or against or to comment, we'd be glad to hear from you. This is a conditional use, and you will need to be sworn in. So if all of you who would like to speak, if you could come forward now, our clerk will swear you in.
So help me God.
Thank you, and we recognize the gentleman here who wanted to speak, and you'll all get a chance.
Sorry about earlier. I haven't been to one of these before. I live, if you will look on the very corner of Edgerton and Jefferson. I attend church at St. Mary's Parish. All 3 of my sons attend St. Mary's School. We have North Drive School just across from the St. Mary's School, and we have the Boys and Girls Club on the other side. We also have a school for special children. I don't know if they're handicapped or whatever, but just down the road, 3 blocks. This whole area needs to be turned into a school zone, not a war zone. I'm sorry, okay? And adding to an already sensitive area where there are no stop signs on Edgerton all the way to that edge. There's a lot of law enforcement that get involved in that area. I personally called. I personally witnessed people from that residence. I swore on this Bible I can give this testimony. Called 911, had to step outside with my dog and my cane to stop a man from beating a woman from that house. Okay? It is on 911. I did call 911. We have called multiple times. There have been shootings coming from that house, alleged to be fireworks. I have been in law enforcement in the past, 7 years with this county, 3 years probation. I know what law enforcement, I know what it is, I know what fireworks are, and I know the difference between fireworks and firearms. Okay, that being said, this council may not know, or you may know, that when a law enforcement officer has to go into a boarding house, it's a lot harder because every room he has to have a search warrant for, unless he has a search warrant for that entire house. And you cannot tell what is going on there. It's a dangerous area. It is a high house. Bullets can travel up to 1 mile. You can look that up anywhere if anybody thinks I'm mistaken. Okay? We have so many schools in this area and so many people involved in this area. We've already got traffic problems in the area, which our chief has been working on so diligently. We have seen a lot of law enforcement presence over there. I like to thank him. However, I do think, and my proposal would be to do what we've done with West Oak Street and stop the running through Wayne County and through Goldsboro. You can put up those barricades and stop that street. There's plenty of entrances into Fairview Homes. You've got Palm, you've got Best, you've got Clayman, you've got Holly, you've got all these streets that run up and down through there. But people run 50, 60 miles an hour up and down that strip already. Then you have this house where you're gonna add God knows who. By the time their background check comes in, who they move in with them, you can't control that. And unless you have a warrant or schedule a search, you can't go in that house. And unless it blows up from somebody creating something they shouldn't, or somebody getting mad and shooting at the wrong person, it's just a bad mixture to add to a very sensitive area that's very populated with a lot of Wayne County's voting citizens. That school is packed with children every day, except for during the summer, and during the summer it's packed with staff. For safety and well-being in our Boys and Girls Club, North Drive School, St. Mary's School, and the school down the road, I beg you to not consider this as a boarding house. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And would you give us your name and mailing address, please?
How are you all?
Good.
We own this house, George Robert Denning, which is my father, Bobby Denning. We began this house as just a rental to one individual. And we took this house over in January the 2nd. We did not know that this individual was using or renting it as a boarding house, because we're not in the boarding house business, okay? When we took this house over on the 5th day of January, we went down to close this house down. And when we went in this house, there were people living in this house that are on a monthly income. This certain individual had taken these people's monthly income and give up the house. So here we go to close the house down. There's people in there. She had took their whole monthly income for rent, and they didn't have anywhere to go. Nowhere. It was to go out on the street. So they talked to myself and my father and begged us if we would keep this house open. So we had a discussion about it, and immediately we took applications on every person in that house. It is a policy of ours. We run applications on every individual that rents from us. If any individual has a felony of any kind, they are not permitted to rent from us. If any individual has left owing another landlord, they are not permitted to rent from us. So from the day that we took this house over on January the 5th, to my knowledge, and I am under oath, we have not had the police department called out to this residence. We immediately went in this house. It was full of roaches. It was just a mess. We immediately went in there. We put bug control all over the whole house. We made that lady come and get her furniture that had originally rented, that we thought we were renting to one person. She come and got it, took it all out. We completely resprayed the house, scrubbed the walls, cleaned the carpet, replaced everything in that house. We got rid of every individual in that house with the exception of 3. One is a lady that works with the United States Department of Agriculture. She rents a room from us. I don't think she's going to cause any problems, and hasn't, and she is my house manager and has been since January. I have another lady that drives for Gateway. She's not caused any problems. I have one more man in there that is retired military. He worked for the military. He is now where he works part-time at Walmart on Spence Avenue. I only have 3 people in there. I have turned down an abundance of people that have come to me to rent a room because they have a felony background, which consisted of drugs or armed guns or whatever it may be. I've turned them down. I've got 5 rooms in this house right now and 2 of them empty because nobody can pass our application check. The people that live in my house do not cause any problems. They are older people. Miss Brenda is in her late 40s. As I said, she works with the United States Department of Agriculture. Miss Sherry Lewis resides in room 3. She drives for Gateway. She doesn't cause any problem. And this older man that is, if I had to bet, he's probably in his early 50s. He's not caused a bit of problems. So if the police was called out there, if there was any shooting, it was done before Bobby Denning and us, the agents, have took possession of this house. The people have begged us to keep the house open. You're more than welcome to go in there. You can eat off the floor. Everything is scrubbed, everything is clean. We've done everything that we're supposed to do to keep this house open for these people to live there. And we're just asking that as long as y'all realize and know that we're doing everything within our power, that we don't want to be a part of this, whatever so-called police or shootings or anything. It's not coming from our house. It is not coming from our house. And we are very strict on who we put in there, very, very strict. And my father might have something he wants to say. He can't hear what's going on, so.
Yeah.
We inherited it. I mean, I never dreamed of it. When we take it back over this lady, we've got one tenant in there,
Right.
and we got them out of the week because we found they were not what we wanted. But, I just done one we got, and again, we inherited it. I mean, that's we went out and did it. But, what's her name, Brenda?
Miss Brenda Holly, she's my manager.
I told her she might have to move, and she was mighty upset.
Yeah. Miss Brenda, which is our manager of our house, she actually owns a house in Ahoskie. And because of the economy, the meat plant over in Ahoskie had to close. So she owns a house. And she come down here and she looked and looked and looked. And there's a lot of boarding houses in this city, and they are not clean boarding houses. But when she saw ours, she immediately, and when I checked her background check, she was clean, you know, we rented to her.
Just people that I inherited it from are doing all over town and towns a while longer. I don't understand this. And the water department knows you're a bottom line, the electrical department knows you're a bottom line. I don't quite understand this, but they're still doing it and saving the 10 houses. And you can do the rest of them.
Matter of fact, the day we took the house over, we tried to do everything by the book. I come straight down to the water department to tell them that the people didn't have anywhere to go, if they would, to transfer the water over to Bobby Dennon's name. They had no water service whatsoever at that house. And I said, ma'am, there's people living in this house. I said, there is running water going to this house. And they said no, and I said, yes. So anyway, we got that straightened out and got the water turned on legally in our name. CP&L, which is Progress Energy, I'm still old from the old school, they were headed out there that very afternoon to cut the lights out on these people. So here we were, we didn't know what to do. We didn't have the heart to throw them out on the street. They lived in that house a solid month, with the exceptions of the one that I immediately threw out. You know, I mean, I couldn't help, they didn't have anywhere to go. But they could not be a convicted felon and live in my house. That just is not gonna happen. We don't rent to convicted felons. But the other ones that were clean and didn't have a record but didn't have no money, they actually lived in our house with our lights and our water and on our dollar for 30 days. Mm-hmm. And we have a very strict application. You know, we can provide you all with that. It asks in detail all the questions that need to be asked. And so if there was any shooting to our knowledge, it had to have taken place before we took control of our house from this other individual. So we would like to ask you all if you could approve it. I mean, we will stay within the guidelines. It will be kept clean, and we will do whatever we're supposed to do to make it right.
Thank you,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right, thank you.
There's at least one more speaker, I know. Yes, sir, you may.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
gentlemen councilmen, if I may express it too much.
Gene, I wanna know what kind of, well, how you been doing, I mean, I just don't know how you did it. I just need to know. Talk to me sometime.
No, I have to. Give us that sign on the corner.
I came up here, I got 4 houses right in this neighborhood. And I've got a few houses around town. I've had some in other places. Are you hearing me good? But am I talking loud enough? I've had some in other places that we tried rooming houses, we tried boarding houses, we tried multiple rooms, and they didn't work for us. I have as much respect for Bobby Denton as anybody I know of. And he's the gentleman that's wanting this thing passed. And I think the world of his family. I've been knowing him a long time. We've done business together. And I just hate to see anything coming at it would upset our neighborhood. May I give you an experience, one experience, or 2 experiences, or 3 experiences that I've had with multiple housing, multiple people living in a single dwelling. To cut it short, my daddy said there wasn't enough room in there, one roof for 2 women. One house, there wasn't enough room in one house for 2 women. You didn't hear that.
I'm trying to get it, but
It went over your head. Anyway, we've had some bad neighborhoods. We've had some bad experiences. In fact, the city owns one of the houses now. They had to tear it down. It was, I think they call it a house of ill repute or brothels. You may add some more words to it if you'd like. You rent it to a man and a woman, or a man or a woman, or both, and they're gonna do this, and they're gonna do that, and you find out what it is. If you check your police reports, that A Street, 413 was the number on it. If you'll check the police reports and see how many reports there was on that house before the city fella took it over and tore it down. Well, then they moved across the street, and there was soliciting up and down the street, and they tore that house down. And A Street had a bad name, and it still does. It still hasn't got over it, but I've still got 2 houses on A Street that's doing okay now, since they got it cleaned up. But that's just part of the experiences I've had. I've had them on Slocum Street. I've had them on George Street. There's one on George Street that's been empty now for 10 or 15 years, I reckon. Because of such, there's one house right beside it, it's multiple. It's got wayward people in it. Alcoholics, drug addicts, people just getting out of prison or out of dark. They run a good house. That man has been there. Has been there a long time, and he was right beside mine. And mine went all to pieces. I mean, I just couldn't keep it controlled. I don't have it. You know, I don't know. It's like the lady said. Bobby's daughter said, you can. They'll promise you anything, but just to get in there. But then you don't know what they're going to do once you get in there. I had the police to call me on a house that I had on James Street. And in fact, I had 2 of them, and I gave them to the Preservation of North Carolina. Gave one of them one year and one the next, because I couldn't keep them rented. I would rent them, and then I'd have a druggie in there, or somebody selling drugs. Supposedly, I don't know. I didn't buy any, so I don't know. They would wake the people up all during the night, you know, 1 or 2 o'clock. Well, then the good ones would leave,
and leave the bad ones there. I'm not talking about Bobby's place. It sounds like they're gonna do a good job, sounds like they're doing a good job. And I don't, like she said, I don't want to run anybody in the street. And if they'll keep it maintained like that, that's fine. But I'm just telling you the experiences I've had. I've just had to give the houses away. Chuck asked me one time, why don't I get out of the store business? Why don't he get out of the contracting business?
I'm sitting here, I haven't said a word.
I can't get out. I can't afford it. I can't even afford to die. I owe too much. I'm gonna sit down and shut my mouth. I think I've said enough. Thank you, gentlemen.
Mr. Bridges?
Do what you think's right.
I've known you for a long time. You haven't changed a bit, you know that?
I don't think he is.
A man asked me one time, said, "Devil, don't you go ever grow up?" I said, "I hope I don't."
Thank you, Mr. D. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing and did somebody say something? No. Okay, we'll close the public hearing.
I think he wants to speak.
You gotta be sworn
Oh, I'm sorry.
You'll raise your right hand and put your left on the Bible. Do you swear or affirm the comments you're about to provide the whole truth and nothing but the truth so help you God?
Yes, sir.
I live at 1602 Edison Street. And I got young girls walking around like that, going to the store at night. And I got grandchildren, I got great grandchildren live there with me, come down, live there with me. And I don't want no house like that right there. It's too dangerous. And then all of them get out there, they're gonna be smoking crack and stuff all around there. There's enough around there now. Reefer and stuff. I don't call the police on them, a whole lot of them out there smoking and stuff like that. They won't do nothing about it. And there's enough getting killed up there now. Since I got that house and moved there, there's 2 people that got killed right down at this store. 2 young boys. So that's all I got to say. I mean, I want to stay there, but if they're gonna put a halfway house in there, I'm gonna just get there and get out.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Is there anybody else?
Yeah.
Okay, before we close the public hearing, I want to make sure that there's no one else who would want to speak.
Well, I'd like to say something, if you don't mind, but it's not pertaining
Whoa.
for or against. I just
What-
want to know how many.
Mr.
Can you tell me how many?
Mr. D.
Yes, sir.
You've had your turn. We've heard from you. You
I'm not going to say anything.
Okay, go ahead.
For or against. I just wanted to ask a question. How many do you have to have in a house before how many separate rooms or how many separate people? How many
Before it's
entities have you got to have in a house,
Before it's a rooming house?
sir?
Before it's
To
a
be a
rooming?
boarding house.
Mr. Guthrie?
Thank you.
That take care? Thank you. Is there anyone else other than Mr. D? Yes. You will have to be sworn.
I got one sentence I want to say.
think that this place should not be just judge us on from the time that we've got this place, turning it around, working with it. Don't judge us for what it was before we own it. Judge us and look at what we have done to this place to change around this neighborhood that everybody's talking about that's so bad. We're trying to change it around. One house can't do it all, but we've tried. And if y'all go in there and look at this house, how we've decorated, how we've got it fixed for these people, there's no trouble at this house now. It might have been before, but judge us from time we own it to now. Look at the yard that's been fixed up around there. Look at the backyard. Everything has been put, bushes has been trimmed. The house is turned around. It looks nice. Just judge us from the time that we've owned it to now, and any of you, you're welcome to go in it and look. We appreciate it.
Ma'am, we have a group of people sitting out here. They're our planning commission. They've listened to everything you say. They will go back and they will meet and they will make a recommendation to us whether or not, we will not decide tonight, probably next meeting, they will give us their recommendation and we usually follow what they say.
We appreciate it. You're welcome.
Thank you.
One house can't do it all. We're fine.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak? Okay, we're closing public hearing and we're moving to our next, and our hardworking planning commission. If you'd like to stay, you know you can, but you've done your job, and I have a feeling that you're gonna leave us. Let's see. No, I'm not. They didn't disappoint me.
Oh my goodness, you're gone.
I think they're gone.
No.
Okay, Mr. City Manager, I guess we go to a consent agenda?
Yes, sir. Mayor, council, your consent agenda, we
She's
had
telling you it's
items,
time to leave. Excuse me, Scott.
we had items D through L.
She's smart. That's his daughter. I didn't see her.
That's mine. I'm sorry.
Not a problem. On the consent agenda, we had items D through L. We removed item K, so we were not doing the amendment to the Goldsboro City Code tonight. So we've removed item K, and in its place, we have an item K1, which was our formal bid request, 2013-004, Herman Park Tennis Court Restoration and Lighting Installation. So that's your consent agenda, Mayor.
Okay,
Move for adoption.
we have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion before we vote? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote, please.
Mayor King,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Petty,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Broadway,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Allen,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Inhofe.
Yes.
Consent agenda is approved. We have no items for individual action.
No, sir.
Mr. City Manager report.
Mayor and Council, I have a few items. One, I'll ask Kim to come up, Kim Best, to give an update on our Goldsboro motto contest and tell us sort of
Yeah.
where we are. We've received an awful lot. We've had a marketing team working on that.
Yeah, I think
And
we
I'd
all
just
need
like
to
Kim to give you an
hear.
update on that.
Mayor, City Council, we wanted to give you an update and let you know we had over 900 entries, well over 900 entries in our motto contest. People are concerned and they are excited to participate in this particular contest, and we are thrilled to have them. The marketing team reviewed each and every one at a time, all 925, to make sure each one had equal opportunity to be heard. The top 20 has been chosen, and they'll be revealed soon. Actually, on July 31st, people can go to our city website, which is goldsboronc.gov, and they can vote for their top pick. All 20 will be listed. The top 5 will be chosen from these 20. The contest runs from July 31st to August 31st. After that point, the top 5 vote getters will be taken back to the marketing team and will be discussed and then brought to you all for the final decision. So you have a little bit of time to start looking and talking to the community members to find out what's happening and who's voting and who's not. We want everybody to
Get
vote.
ready,
We
get
want
ready.
everybody to take part. It's their time to take this opportunity to pick and choose what is the best motto for the city of Goldsboro. We do appreciate all the entries. We appreciate people being concerned and taking part in their own community. Any questions?
I want to thank you, Kim, and your team. You've done a fantastic job.
Well,
You've got me-
it's a good team.
You've got me all involved, and I can't wait now to find out what it's going to be.
Well, it's
Even got him
exciting
on
and
the
there's some
bus.
good ones.
Yeah, it'll be up to these people here to pick the 1 out of 5. We'll
Well,
get
the
5.
final ones we'll take to Lights Up Downtown this fall, and we will reveal all 20 will come and actually get their gifts on the steps of City Hall at Lights Up Downtown event we always have. Also the top 5, and then of course the winner. So that's when the big reveal will happen. So thank you for your support and your commitment to this motto contest.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
making it happen.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Kim. And a lot of creative people in the community have been part of that. It's been interesting to see their submissions. Mayor, 2 more items I'd like to mention, just for your information. We are holding our second GPAC call-in. It will be the Tuesday, the 16th, here in these chambers. So if you would like to come back Tuesday night, it'll be, I think, 6 p.m. or 6:30? 6 p.m.?
6 o'clock?
6 o'clock, Tuesday the 16th. Again, not a public meeting, but it is open to the public. So if you'd like to come, it won't be announced in the paper, but you're welcome to attend. But I'm very pleased with our police department's efforts, and in particular, Sergeant Chair taking the lead on that and moving that process through. But thanks to all our partners there. And then the last item I would like to mention is an event we were involved in last year. It was the Purple Heart event and the dinner.
Yes.
And again, it's coming up August 6th, so you'll hear about that again. But for those interested, it will be at 7 o'clock on August 6th here at a church in Goldsboro. Tickets are $20 for those that would like to attend, but it was a very good event last year and would encourage those that would like to be part of that.
That's a
to be part
great
of it.
event. I was involved in it, but the night of its actual meeting, I wasn't here, but Michael attended for me, and he said it was great. I can tell you one thing: we have an awful lot of Purple Heart winners in this area. I signed all of the certificates of appreciation, and I signed certificates of appreciation for Purple Heart winners whom I knew. I knew very well. I did not know that they had earned a Purple Heart. So in whatever way we can, we really need to support them. Thank.
And that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. Mr. Attorney?
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Coming to mayor and council, I have one more retirement resolution to minister. I didn't. Okay, we're gonna have to do that. Resolution expressing appreciation for services rendered by Wade Johnson as an employee of the city of Goldsboro for more than 30 years. Whereas Wade Johnson retired on July 1st, 2013 as a fire captain with the Goldsboro Fire Department of the city of Goldsboro with more than 30 years of service. And whereas Wade began his career on June 20th, 1983 as a firefighter with the Goldsboro Fire Department. And whereas on January 3rd, 1996, Wade was promoted to fire engineer with the Goldsboro Fire Department. And whereas on October 8, 1997, Wade was promoted to fire captain with the Goldsboro Fire Department, where he has served until his retirement. And whereas Wade has proven himself to be a dedicated and efficient public servant who has gained the admiration and respect of his fellow workers and the citizens of the city of Goldsboro. Whereas the mayor and the city council of the city of Goldsboro desires on behalf of themselves, the other city officials and employees, and the citizens of the city of Goldsboro of expressing to Wade Johnson their deep appreciation and gratitude for the services rendered by him to the city over the years. Now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and city council of the city of Goldsboro, North Carolina, that one, we express to Wade Johnson our deep appreciation and gratitude for the dedicated service rendered during his tenure with the city of Goldsboro. 2, we offer Wade our very best wishes for success, happiness, prosperity, and good health in his future endeavors. 3, this resolution shall be incorporated into the official minutes of the city of Goldsboro and shall be in full force from and after this 15th day of July 2013. Wade's not here, but I was Human Resources Director, and I helped hire this young man. I tell you, if it's around the 30 or 33, those are my people. And 30 years, we couldn't ask any more from him. When Wade came to us, we were running EMT out of fire department before we merged. And Wade was one of our dedicated EMT people who made an awful lot of calls and did an awful lot for us. And I'm sure he hasn't forgotten that, but I haven't either. So to Wade, we wish him well. Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Just congratulations to our 2 retirees, Mr. Mayor, for all of their hard work and their dedication to our city. And then secondly, I just want to thank for District 1, I want to thank the Police Chief, Randy Guthrie and Scott Stevens for their hard work for a situation that we ran into with a boarding house, of all things, issue. And even you, Mr. Mayor, I want to thank you for your support.
Sure,
It has made a difference for the citizens in District 1, and I want to thank all of you for your hard work. That's it.
That it? Mr. Broadway.
I just have one thing, and I want to thank with all the rain we've had, especially in my district, street crews have just been, sanitation guys and all those guys out in the rain have cleaned drains, and
well, if you
hadn't seen Walnut Street totally backed up, you hadn't seen Mulberry Street, and those guys are out there in the rain cleaning those drains, and it makes a difference, and we don't see that. But I mean, it was raining like crazy, and those guys were out there, no complaining, doing it. And
they don't.
The Public Works guy's not here, but I want to thank them because they were there multiple times, keeping our streets clean, and that's not easy to do.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I tell people all the time, one of our greatest assets in the city of Goldsboro is our employees. We have some top-notch employees, right across the board. I am so proud of them, and hey, they deserve it. Never complain. They just get out and bust their butts, man, for their
And they
city.
were doing it.
Thank you. Rev?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I just want to echo what my fellow councilman has said, and I want to congratulate all those that have retired, and I pray they'll have a happy retirement. That's about it.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I have 2 things. First, it's been duly pointed out that we did not make a motion to pass the resolution.
Yes, you're right.
I would like to make a motion that we approve the resolution.
Second.
I was hoping you'd do that.
I knew you were.
Because I recognize that we did not do that.
Okay.
For both. We did. Motion to adopt the resolutions of Wade Johnson and Hargett.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass. Thanks.
Okay, got that. Secondly, I've sat here and I've debated amongst myself, and I wasn't going to respond to Ms. Rose's comments, and I didn't when she was here, because I don't want to go back and forth. But what she said bothers me. First off, she implied that somebody had lied.
That we're lying.
And nobody has lied, period. I know we were all involved. Basically, when W.A. Foster came up, we were told that the site was not big enough. We had to acquire some more property to do what the Parks and Rec folks wanted to do. They made diligent efforts to go around the existing site. There was a Masonic Lodge. There were other people who had no interest in selling. Those that did want to sell wanted ridiculous prices. And it just was going to really kill the project. You'd have never got it all bought reasonably, or somebody would have held out, or what. I mean, so the staff had no other choice to look at other projects. They did go look at the church, and at the time, the church wanted a pretty hefty price for the church, which we felt like we couldn't pay. So we went to look, and then it became, if we could put it on city property, that would be monies that we didn't have to pay that we could put into the facility. And that's when Mina Will came up. And I do know that we talked to the Will family who donated the land for Mina Will to the city, and they thought that was a very good thing. And it would be great, and that their ancestors would appreciate that. Secondly, she acts like it was done in secret or in a vacuum. I know there were several public meetings, probably more than we normally have. I know I went to some, Bill went, I mean, everybody may have gone to some. So it really bothers me when somebody comes up here and throws a bomb that's not all true. And what she said is not all true, and if you took it at face value, you would think we had done all this in a vacuum, and I don't like that or appreciate that, because I think we have done as open and as diligently as we could do it. You may not like where we chose to put it, and that's fine, but we did what we thought was in the best interest of the community, of the folks, and we're simply trying to get it built in a location that we can build it where it's functional and at a reasonable cost. So I just felt like I need to say that.
Thank you for saying that. Keith?
The only thing I want to say is about a month ago, I rode with Officer Gardner on a night ride for the police department. And Chief, you didn't have to put me in the worst car you had. I mean, I know how bad the cars are.
Yes, he did. There's a method to it, man.
I mean, they wouldn't even let the guy have his regular car. They gave him one worse. But I did find out something. I found out a little bit because I wanted to ride and talk to the police officer and get a better understanding of what they did. And I think if you haven't ridden as a ride along with the police department, it really is worth your time. I only spent 3 hours there, and it was a very uneventful day, but it was eye-opening in some ways, and in other ways it was very satisfying, because I saw police officers who were really dedicated to their job.
They are dedicated. Absolutely. Thank you for doing that.
That's
and
all
I'm
I
sure
have to
they
say.
appreciate it. Is that it?
That's it.
Well, I just like to follow up a little bit on what Chuck said. I'm getting up there in age a little bit now, and I'm not as tactful as I used to be. And I'm sick and tired of people coming, addressing us as parent to child. I'm nobody's child. I'm an adult. If they want to communicate with us, do it as adult to adult. And when someone comes up and calls us a lie, I don't take that lightly. And it's difficult for me to sit here and be polite. And I promise you, don't be surprised if one of these days your mayor is going to go off, because I've about had it. And when I go off, they're going to know I've gone off. I'm fighting it, but I'm about there. So the next one who comes, don't be surprised.
I'll just touch you on the shoulder.
Okay. If there's nothing else to come before us, we stand adjourned.
She insinuated we're going to hell too.